Happy VA Wednesday. Today we're going to talk about some of the basic documents to have ready if you're starting to look for a VA loan. These are documents all lenders are going to be asking for, so you just want to get them set aside so that you're not sidelined if there's an issue. So the first and most important thing is either your certificate of eligibility or your DD-214. Okay, now the reason I say this is, for instance, if you go to my online application and you fill it out, my bot, it's a bot, will try to pull your certificate of eligibility. 9 out of 10 times it comes back. So that's fantastic. That takes some of the work off of you for sure. But that one time it doesn't come back, I have to ask the borrower for additional information, and then my processors are ordering it through the VA. So sometimes what can happen is the bot doesn't pull it because maybe the person served prior to, the data being online. Like, who knows? There's like 80 different ways it won't pull. Sometimes its last name changes. There's a couple different things. So we always need additional information. And the most common document we ask for is the DD-214. If our bot can't pull it, you don't have the DD-214, and you can't get the certificate of eligibility online, and I will have a link in the comments to your e-benefits, which I think most of you guys know about, but if you don't, oh my God, the VA is in, like, they are modern now, guys. I actually was on the phone with a gal 2 days ago, and she couldn't get her DD-214, and she'd been trying for a long time, so I just went on, I Googled the regional office, and they're closed because of COVID, but they were doing online appointments. So I just sat there and helped her book an appointment online with the VA. They're pretty slick now. So you really wanna have those documents ready, because if you don't, we're just gonna say, hey, look, I really need you to go to the VA and get this, because if my bot's not pulling it and then I don't have the documents I need to try to order it, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. There's nothing I can do. We can't just, if you say, well, I served, and I believe you 150%, but I can't sell that loan down the line without it. I have to have the certificate of eligibility. Also, that tells me how much funding fee to charge you. And that's something that we see a lot of issues on, because if I don't have that information, let's say that you fill out a refinance application with me and your certificate of eligibility doesn't come up. And in addition to that, you don't have your documents, I'm going to disclose as high as possible on the funding fee, because until I have a certificate of eligibility telling me elsewise, I'm terrified not to. So a great example of this would be if you're doing a cash out VA refinance. If you're not exempt, the funding fee is 3.6%. If you're exempt, it's 0. But I am going to have on my paperwork 3.6% until I have that certificate of eligibility that says exempt. And sometimes people get really upset. They're like, I'm a disabled vet, I'm exempt, you shouldn't have this fee on there. And I'm like, I don't want to have this fee on there. I need your certificate of eligibility so I can take it off. Because last year, I actually had someone that was like, oh no, I'm exempt, I swear to God I'm exempt. And I'm like, okay, yeah, cool, great. They weren't exempt. And here's the problem with lenders and VA funding fees. And I'm gonna be so blunt, guys. If we disclose wrong, so if I disclose 0 and then it ends up being 3.6%, we have to eat that fee. On certain loans, like on a $100,000 loan, that's $3,600. As the loans go up, it's more and more and more. We don't make that type of money off of loans. I don't make that type of money off of loans. It'd be flippin' fabulous if I did. I mean, I'd probably have a much nicer desk, like my hair would be blown out. I'd have hair and makeup, guys. We don't make that much. So we're really scared of disclosing that VA funding fee, because what sucks, and I'm sorry, I know that's not an appropriate ladylike word, but what sucks is that we can't even say like, oh, we disclosed it as 0, but then we got the certificate of eligibility and it's this, so we're so sorry. We're supposed to know before we're disclosing. So it really can be an issue. So if a lender has on your disclosures a funding fee that you think is wrong, but we don't have your certificate of eligibility, that is why it is like that. Once we have your certificate of eligibility, if you are exempt, fantastic, we will remove the fee. It is so critical for you guys to know that lenders can't charge you more than what you're actually supposed to be charged on the VA funding once we have your eligibility, which tells us. So it's just really important to note that, guys. I had another one. Oh my God, this video should be called Jennifer's Nightmares of 2020. That's what we're gonna call it. And the borrower's like, I'm like, oh, are you a first-time home buyer? Yes, I'm a first-time home buyer. And I'm like, cool, you know, and we checked the credit. There was no history of home buying at all. So we're like, great, 2.3%, because that's what you have on a VA for a first-time home buyer. And we didn't have the certificate of eligibility yet because the bot didn't pull it. The borrower was getting the DD-214, right? It was subsequent use. Yeah, subsequent use, which means it was 3.6. So lenders often will disclose your funding fee higher if they don't have the documents they need to make the right assessment. Some lenders are disclosing higher until an underwriter reviews your file. And the reason they're doing that is because of how expensive, you know, a simple mistake. And like, you know, people are like, oh my God, like, I'll pay that. You don't have to pay that. I don't want your company paying that. That's like on me. You can't. It's not the way it works. So certificate of eligibility or that DD-214, please have those ready for us. The next thing we're going to be asking you about is going to be if you're active, your LES. If you're a civilian, pay now, we're going to be asking for 1 month's most recent pay stubs, as well as 2 years W-2s. Those are the big things I'm always looking for, is going to be 1 month's most recent pay and 2 years of W-2s. Now, in addition, if you guys own any other properties, I'm gonna need the mortgage statement for that, as well as the property tax, homeowners, and HOA information. And we need that because it's part of your debt to income. If you have rental properties or you're self-employed, we're also gonna need tax returns. And in addition, be prepared to have 2 months of bank statements ready. We do have an electronic system now that can verify, but I do understand a lot of people are not comfortable with that, so we can use your 2 most recent bank statements. So as you can tell from this video, the most important thing to me is that certificate of eligibility or the DD-214, and really have those ready. I'll send you guys, I'll have the link to that site, and then everything else is basic that you would do on a normal loan. So I hope this video has been helpful. If you have questions or comments, please reach out. If you like it, subscribe, and I'm licensed in 46 states and I do loans. Someone asked me if I did loans last week and I was like, I do loans. That's what I do. I'm a lender. Thanks for watching.